Hello and welcome along to the Project Cars 2 Virtual Racing League, and today you join us for a brand new GT3 Championship. Long awaited this one, the drivers are absolutely raring to go. 5 minutes qualifying, two 20-minute races, 10 points for the winner of each race, and the drivers have to make a pit stop in one of those two 20-minute races. And today those two races are coming from the classic, the historic Donington Park GP layout. Round one here today. Two races coming your way. Let's see how they got on in qualifying. Oh, qualifying was cancelled for technical issues. So it's a random grid start for race one. No qualifying. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and the championship gets underway. And it's Stalker Brown leading the way from pole position now in the green and black Audi. And it looks like Twingo's there trying to line up a nice exit coming out to him. It's almost 3 abreast behind them going in through the midfield there. Scuderia Sam, Roger the Dodger having a tight battle for 3rd and 4th with Alex CDL, Free Gazelle, Luffy McGee, Chris Doty and Subrosa all the way back down there. We know how much pace Subrosa's got though, so it'll be exciting to see him come through the field. There's a red Lamborghini of Scuderia Sam off there, and then making contact with Alex's Ginetta by the looks of it. So that's already some contacts going on through the Craner curves as they come down the hill. And now they're heading up the hill once again, and we've got Stalker Brown still leading the way. Roger's Dodger's up into 2nd with Scuderia Sam 3rd. Twingo's back down to 4th now, but he's ahead of Free Gazelle still. And Alex, there's Free Gazelle in the Aston Martin. Nice to see the Aston Martin involved there. Oh, a bit of contact. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, bang! Oh, and there's cars flying and getting airborne. And it looks like Luffy McGee was heavily involved in that one, and so was Alex DDL. And Subrosa's gained from that. He's up into 6th now, so we have to see what pace he's got. I think that's really spread the field out a little bit now as they come into the tricky little chicane here right at the back of the circuit towards the end, and they go now onto the sort of GP layout. And this is a heavy battling going on now between the Lamborghini and the Renault of Roger the Dodger. These two were battling hard as well in the previous GT3 Championship we had. Both stalwarts of the league. Roger the Dodger's got the inside line now for turn 1. Scuderia Sam runs very wide in that Lamborghini, a little bit of understeer there, but he's got a good little cut back now. He's right tucked underneath the rear wing of that Renault. Looking down the inside, Roger sees him coming. These two are both experienced racers in real life as well, both keen karters, and they're going to be battling, hopefully without much contact, for the next 20 minutes of this race. Absolutely fantastic stuff as the battles now rage on in the midfield. Joining me in the commentary box is Ian, and first time commentary Mac as well. Welcome along to commentary Mac. Ian, how did you find that first lap? What did you make of that?
Yeah, it was a chaotic start to a much anticipated championship. We had unfortunately coming together with Subrosa and Lupi G there. So Lupi G got spun round and he's at the back of the field now, so he needs to be working his way through. And Subrosa, who's usually one of the faster guys, has found himself in midfield, so he'll be wanting to make amends there as we look at epic battle already between Scuderia Sam and Roger the Dodger. They've had some good scraps in the past and looking to continue where they left off, as we've seen a few guys have a few incidents early on, and there's Alex CDL at the back there as well, so he'll be one of the quicker ones to watch out as we look at Roger and Sam again continuing the battle, and Stalker Brown just getting away at the head of it, but these two are closing in fast as well, so need to watch as that goes on. But yeah, quite a chaotic start. I was looking at Scuderia Sam and Roger getting a bit physical there, and this looks like it's going to be a great battle between them today. What have you made of that, Mac?
Yes, definitely a very chaotic start to the race. Obviously everyone's a little bit rusty off the off-season, it's Christmas, but yeah, definitely going to be an interesting season considering everyone's neck and neck at the start, front of the pack, and we're all pretty equal skill level towards the mid-pack, so it's definitely going to be key for some good battles throughout the season.
Yes, and look at this side-by-side battling going on now between Subrosa in the Merc and Twingo. Twingo really didn't want to leave that position up for grabs for Subrosa, but Subrosa managed to sneak through there. But it's a good point you made there, Mac, about the fact that the drivers might be a little bit rusty after the Christmas break. It's been a while since we had the last championship, wasn't it? And I think, well, here in the UK anyway, we've had a lot of ice and snow and stuff, so I don't know whether that's got to some of the drivers' heads thinking, what on earth is this grey tarmac stuff? We're used to the white stuff, but they seem to be finding a lot of the green stuff as well. But yeah, the drivers having good fun here in the early stages, but no more fun than Stalker Brown by the looks of it. He's still leading the way here on lap 3, coming up to the end of lap 3 now. As I speak, as I say that though, I can't even get my words out here because Roger the Dodger just absolutely sends it down the inside, and Scuderia Sam follows through as well. Hopefully not literally, but now Stalker Brown's back down to 3rd place, and he's not going to like that very much. A bit of a commentator's curse there. I was just saying that he was leading the way almost 4 laps. Interesting to see what he does now though, because does he have the pace to hang on to these two, or is he just going to pit and use his pit stop and then potentially not need to pit in the second race and have a better result? So it is a little bit of tactics going on here as well, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely a bit of tactics early on. Stalker Brown showed some good pace early on, and was ahead for a good bit as with Scuderia Sam and Roger Dodger battling away. So it'll be interesting to see what he decides now, and that's Sabrosa up in the mix as well. So a little bit of tactics. Maybe wants to see how it plays out. It's still early in the race, and he's shown good pace up front. So maybe might want to stick with it a little while as we look at the likes of that's Sabrosa and Alex CDL making their way back through the pack. And as you look at that's Alex there just in his Genetta just trying to recover from a few early runs. So that that's a spin there, and he's come to a complete stop as we see Looping G and Chris going in the background, making a bit of contact, a bit of rubbing, and here they are. It's a bit of a battle here. We've had driving standards warning for Alex. So I was just saying how he's getting himself back in the race, and then he has a wee moment there to drop himself back again, and driving standards for good measure. So a bit of a commentator's curse there as well. But this is Stalker Brown and Sabrosa. Just a bit of contact there, and. That's drops Stalker Brown down into 3rd for the time being, but he's still got a good gap in 3rd, and he's still in the mix here.
What do you make of the action, Mac?
There's definitely lots going on in this race at the moment. Obviously everyone's a little bit rusty. Obviously we're not as used to being close wheel to wheel as we used to be, obviously towards the end of the last season, so there is going to be a few accidents I can see in the first couple of races while we get back into the swing of things, but so far it's definitely going to be an entertaining season and race so far.
Yeah, what do you make of Roger's early pit stop there?
Considering how much pace Roger has, I think it's kind of a smart decision, get that out of the way. And then obviously he can just build the pace back up straight away, because he's basically a machine behind the wheel. He can just nail the lap times 5-10 seconds ahead of most of the grid, and I don't think he'll find it hard to get through the pack again and back up to the podium to start fighting with Sabrosa and Stalker Brown and Scuderia Sam.
Yeah, it's a good point. And talking of absolutely flying through the pack, Sabrosa now 1.5 seconds off the leader, Scuderia Sam. Now that's Rogers pitted. Sabrosa was, I think, it was around 8 or 9 seconds behind the leader at one point, just after lap 1 or 2. So yeah, he has got some absolute serious pace. The last time he was the fastest man on the track by over a second, 1.2 seconds, 1.3 seconds ahead of faster than Scuderia Sam, and he's right on his tail now, only 1 second behind as we look at Alex CDL now. So yeah, the battle for the lead is really intensifying now, and look, you can see Sabrosa's flashing his lights, and he's saying, "I'm coming for you, red Lamborghini, Scuderia Sam, and I'm going to try and make you put you under a bit of pressure here and see what happens," because these two now are actually going to go for it. Sabrosa, we know how much pace he's got, but we also know that Scuderia Sam's got quite a lot of consistency. So it's going to be a good battle, and it's nowhere near halfway yet. We're still a good few minutes away from halfway, so literally anything can happen still in this race. We're quite spread out now because some of the drivers have decided to take their pit stops already. Scuderia Sam versus Sabrosa up front. We'll see what they do. Stalker Brown's still within touching distance there if those two up front come together. He hasn't quite got the ultimate pace, but he's pretty much in the mix with the midfield runners behind him, so he should be looking at a good result hopefully as well for him. And Luke McGee in the other Lamborghini in 4th there. I don't think he's made a pit stop either, so it'll be interesting to see where he comes out. But the man on the move right now is this man here in the Merc, Sabrosa, although he did make a little mistake on that previous lap.
Yeah, he certainly is. But for that opening lap coming together with Luke McGee he'd be right up there. But he's done well to recover, to be only 2 seconds off Scuderia Sam as we get into this sort of second half stage of the race with that's Luke G again, who's done well to recover. He dropped to the back there, and this is Alex Cdl, who's had a bit of a bad day so far, but he's one to watch as well with his pace and all-round consistency usually. So he's one to watch both in the second half of this race and as we go into the second race of the day. And here's Stalker Brown, who's showing some good consistency in that Audi there, up kind of in third. Had the lead, but he's still in the mix there, and it's still good overall position for him, and he can start to weigh up his strategy, whether he wants to take his pit stop or if he wants to hang in there and look at strategies in the second race. But stepping all to play for, and then you've got Roger, who's as you mentioned, Mac, who's got the pace to kind of drop back and maybe come again, and has managed to avoid some of the early incidents. So with others having problems, he's right in there too, back in sixth place as he looks at Chris, who's had a few issues in this first race here, and is just looking to kind of get himself back into contention. But that's Roger bearing right down on him, and Roger's one to go, as you said, Mac, for the second half of this race.
Yes, definitely. But everyone started taking their pit stops now. I think they just want to get it out of the way for this race, so then they can just go hell for leather in the second race and hopefully claw some time and points back in the second race if they can't get the places back. Obviously Roger has already gained another place already, so he's quickly getting back up to the top front part of the pack to start fighting with Loopy McGee and Stalker Brown and Sabrosa, Scuderia Sam, all very talented drivers when it comes to sim racing and very experienced. So it is definitely going to be a good fight towards the end of this race in the last 10 minutes. As you can see, we've got a bit of contact with Free Gazelle there and Sabrosa, I think it is, in the Merc. Don't know what happened there. I don't know if Gazelle is breaking a little too much in these corners, but as I've said, we're all a little rusty. I half the time we're struggling with braking points. And he's cutting the grass again.
Yeah, I don't know, Aston Martin didn't actually invent lawnmowers, but Terry's having a good go at making one into a lawnmower there by the looks of it, and he was absolutely hell-bent, wasn't he, on not letting second place man Sabrosa through, and look how much time he's lost now. That gap has doubled at least to Scuderia Sam. So I can imagine there's some choice words going on underneath the virtual crash helmet of Sabrosa there as he was trying to get past the Aston Martin. We know Terry, Free Gazelle I should say, is a little bit, let's say, green with the Aston Martin. He's still getting up to speed with it, and it's probably not one of the quickest cars, but still he got well in the way there of second place. But anyway, hopefully he'll get up to speed, and he's having a good race himself with Twingo. He's looking at trying to catch Twingo up ahead for 8th, so he's in his own race as well. But for the lead now, it's a bit of a shame because that was really getting spicy, wasn't it, up front? So let's see if Sabrosa can close that gap back in again to Scuderia Sam, who's driving quite consistently at the moment. But it's nice to see Alex Cdl switching now to the other drivers in the field. In the Ginetta, we didn't see the Ginetta out last time in the last GT3 Championship, but it seems to be going well in the hands of Alex there. And I don't think we mentioned, but all the drivers pretty much have chosen different cars from the last championship, haven't they, Ian?
Yes, they sure have, and here's Scuderia Sam at the front, previous champion in the Ferrari, switching to their another fine Italian brand in Lamborghini, and looking really well out the front there. As we look at Sabrosa, he's also switched cars, and I think by and large across the board everyone switched cars. There's Stalker Brown, looking at Jeeves in the idea last time, and Stalker Brown's showing it's still got good pace and doing a good job out front as Sabrosa takes his pit stop. Now that's an interesting strategy. had an incident early on, got himself back into contention, and had another wee incident, so he's decided to pit now and just drop back a bit and see what he can do in the latter half of this race as he comes in just ahead of just ahead there, and just ahead of Roger there. So it's an interesting strategy. So both these two very quick drivers have both had their pit stops out of the way in the first race, so they'll be ones to watch in the second one. But they're still not they're still not too far, but maybe 28 seconds out of it. But there's a few cars up ahead. You're looking ahead with Luke G and Stalker Brown, so they'll be looking to maybe close some of them, pick off some of them, and still put themselves in contention for the podium, and that sets them up beautifully for the second race. So interesting hunt going on here just now between these two, and that's Luke and G just ahead. So see if they can reel them in, and they've still got plenty of time to do so as we close out these laps. So still a lot to watch here, and it could be an interesting finish. What do you think of that, Mac?
Yeah, it's definitely heating up now that everyone's got their pit stops out of the way now. Roger's within a second of Sabrosa, and Sabrosa's just over a second and a half, 2 seconds up to Loopy McGee, and Stalker Brown's about 10 seconds ahead. But it's definitely getting close now, and it's definitely going to be a fight at the end of the race now to see who can get the podium finishes.
Yeah, it will be, because the top three, correct me if I'm wrong here, but the top three haven't pitted, have they, in this race? So Luke McGee really is a cork in a bottle here, with a load of cars coming up behind him now. But he's going very nicely in that Lamborghini. The Lamborghini does seem to be handled very well too, in all of the hands of the drivers. It's quite a popular one. Oh, someone has spun on the pit straight. How has that happened? That's Chris, our real life racing driver, of course, so he doesn't tend to make many mistakes. But he has, by the looks of it, made a mistake there, unless there's been some contact that we haven't seen, because I believe he was ahead of Alex CDL and now he's behind him, so I don't know what happened there with Chris. A bit of an odd place to drop it, so hopefully he can recover from that. But he's lost his bumper, but thankfully it's only virtual damage, cosmetic damage in this league, so they don't have to worry about losing any performance. But I'm sure Chris would have liked his car to be going across the line with a bit more pieces on it than that.
Yeah, definitely a very, very unfortunate day for Chris. He just seems to have had a few technical problems early on, and it just seems to have continued as we look at Sabrosa's right on McGee here. As you say, McGee's been going well in that Lamborghini. It's looked a good car here today, but it's just and he's just over down there onto the grass, and that's 2 in one corner. So that's not great going for him there as Sabrosa and Roger get past him in the first one. And of course, they've had the pit stop, so that's great for them. And Luke McGee drops back to 5th, still in touch there, but it's going to be tricky for him now with closing lights and the pace they've got. Side by side. Oh, that's epic battle in there between these two very fast drivers, but neither one of them want to give an inch here, and this could be a very, very fascinating finish as we've got about just under 5 minutes left here. But that's unfortunate for McGee, but these two have been charging all day, and looking in a very good position to get some good points here. Yeah,
definitely. You can tell the pressure's on now because everyone's pushing every last inch of performance out of these cars. As you see in the previous lap, Sam overcooked there on the braking zone on the last corner and lost a place or two. Roger, as I've said, start of the race, he's got the pace to be able to just make his way through the back. He's in 3rd place currently. Sabrosa nearly kissing his back bumper there, and it's definitely heating up now. Everyone's not giving any space for any places be given away, and as they start catching back up to Free Gazelle, which hopefully doesn't cut any more lawns. I don't think the caretaker's going to be too happy at the end of this race, going to be honest.
Yeah, probably. But look at these two now coming through. Like, I think, yeah, they both got through safely now, but they're absolutely going for it, aren't they? And if you remember, Roger was ahead of Sabrosa before all the pit stops, and Sabrosa came out ahead of Roger, and now Roger, after that incredible move the last lap, is back ahead. But Sabrosa hasn't given up yet. He's got his lights on, which is a sure sign of any virtual driver. If they've got their lights on, they're going to be going for it seems. And actually, Roger, has to be said, he has signed for McLaren this season, so I don't know what he's doing in a Renault in this first race. Maybe it was something to do with the technical problems we had during qualifying or something. He's accidentally ended up driving for one of the rival teams. But anyway, he's going well in that Renault. He knows it well. It was his championship car the last time out, where he put in some fantastic drives. I think it might have been his first championship actually with the league last time, so it's almost like the sort of anniversary for him of the league. And kind of similar for Sabrosa as well, who finished runner-up in the last GT3 championship, so he has to be one of the favourites too. So two of the favourites battling out here, and every single point is going to matter. And they're closing in on Stalker Brown, but it's the final lap at the moment, so I don't think they're going to catch Stalker Brown for second. So this looks like it's going to be a battle to see who's going to finish on the podium. And in the next race here, of course, they've already made their pit stop. Scuderia Sam and Stalker Brown are going to be out of the picture because they're going to have to make their pit stops. So these two could well be going for trying to get the win here, along with perhaps you have to look at Alex Adiel, who's very fast, and Chris Doherty, who's been a bit unlucky in this race. All those drivers should be going for the win in the second race, having already made their pit stops. So that's going to be really exciting, something to look forward to for the second one. But back to this race now on the final lap. Can Sabrosa pass Roger for thirds? That's the big one really. Or can they both catch Stalker Brown? You see Stalker Brown just there in the green Audi. You can't really miss that Audi, can you, in that sort of colour, neon green. You see that thing in the dark from space. But oh look, Sabrosa's got a great run here on Roger. He's going to try and run-foot Roger now as they come over the tricky little corner, which I forget what the name is. But oh, he's run wide now, Sabrosa is, and Roger's off as well. Oh, they're both having issues here, and halfway around the last lap, and Roger comes back on the track just ahead of Sabrosa. Sabrosa's flashing his lights now. He's got the inside line, he's got the momentum. Scuderia Sam takes the checkered flag to win the race, and Roger now he's ceded that position to Sabrosa. Sabrosa's ahead, but Roger's not giving up. He's going to go down the inside now, and Sabrosa's trying to close him off, but there's just not quite enough room there, and Roger's going to send it down the inside. He has to be careful not to run too wide though. He decides to just slot in very nicely there ahead of Sabrosa. Oh, bang, as the party gets underway over the finish line. And Stalker Brown, he's coming home for finish second by the looks of it. But Sabrosa's not giving up. He's going to try and go right around the outside. But very well defended there from Roger and Dodger to take third place away from Sabrosa right at the death there. What a fantastic battle those two had. And Luke McGee nearly caught them both sleeping, didn't he, the Scotsman, coming home in fifth there. Oh, well, that was really exciting, I have to say. It was one of the most exciting finishes to a race I've seen in quite some time.
Yeah, what an epic finish, and just makes the mouth water for what that's going to be like in race 2 when with them both having their pit stops out the way. And yeah, Loopy McGee just coming in, just didn't quite have enough there to come again, but was there. I think was just there like a vulture, just in case any of them had any mishaps. But it wasn't to be. And yeah, what an epic finish between those two. A good win for Scuderia Sam, and a great result for Stalker Brown, who had good pace throughout and got home to a well-deserved second.
Absolutely, yeah. So confirmation of the result there: Scuderia Sam, Stalker Brown, Roger the Dodger, Sabrosa, Luke McGee, Alex Idiel, Chris Doherty, who had a bit of a nightmare. Hopefully he can come back in the next race. Twingo-tastic did really well there as well to hold off Free Gazelle for 8th and 9th positions. So the championship table obviously follows the same order because there's only been one race. 10 points, 9 points, 8 points, all the way down to 2 points. And Makev's there in 10th. He's going to go for the Lamborghini by the looks of it in this championship. So that'll be pretty exciting to see how he gets on. Up next is race 2, as you can see by all the speed marks rushing off the letters there. It's going to be exciting. 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. Oh, it's a quick start here. The lights go. Oh, someone stalled on the start. It's an Audi by the looks of it. Is that Roger? It looks like Roger. What's he doing in an Audi? I don't know what he's doing. But anyway, he's on the line now having a cup of tea, and that's not where you want to be at the start of a race. Alex Idiel is in 9th position, just behind Free Gazelle's Aston Martin. That's definitely not where you want to be at the start of a race. So he's got a lot of work to do now to get past the immovable object. Chris Doherty, meanwhile, has decided that he's had enough of being in the midfield, and he's first at the moment now, leading them round halfway around the first lap. He's got Stalker Brown, runner up in the last race, right behind him, putting the pressure on, with Luke McGee, the Scotsman, in third. And it looks like Roger's got some terrible issues here. Looks like he could be out of this race, which is a terrible shame for Roger. There's Muckevs, who's just getting underway in this GT3 Championship, having missed the first race, and he's going to have to make his pit stop as well in this race. So yeah, he's not having the best of time either, but it's a long way still to go. Obviously, another 20-minute race coming your way. And look at the order now. Look at all the cars. It's a fantastic train of cars heading down the back straight here at Virtual Donington. And you've got Scuderia Sam there up in third now with his lights on, charging. He's going to have to make his pit stop at some point, and Luke McGee is following through behind the Lamborghini teammate. Cars absolutely vying for position everywhere, all sizing each other up. Sort of two breakaway packs here going on. You've got the lead pack, and then you've got like a chasing pack here led by Alex CDL's Janetta, and then Subrosa, Freakzell, Luke McGee there just holding off Twingo-tastic by the looks of it in the Renault. Twingo's having a really good first lap here. None of the drivers can pit on the first lap, of course. They have to wait until at least the second lap to make their pit stop. But most of the field have pitted. I think there's only a handful to pit in this race, so should be in for a really exciting one.
Yeah, definitely. And there's Chris making a breakaway at the front after a very disappointing first race. He'll be looking to do better in this one, and he's certainly got off to a great start. Scuderia Sam makes a good start as well, but he'll be one of the ones that has the pit, so it'll be interesting to see how much of a early start he can get. And Stalker Brown and Luke McGee, the other two, will be needing to pit, so they will want to get some early laps in. And yeah, it's definitely looking really good for Chris so far after a really tough start. But if there's ever a circuit to make it up, this is the one. And we've seen a wee bit of an incident there as Alex Edel, who's also be one to watch here, wanting to get back into it after a very disappointing first race, and look at two Lamborghinis with G and Stalker Brown just behind. So yeah, we've got the kind of the people to pit are mostly up at the front just now, but that'll all change when they make their pits, and we'll see new orders. See that Stalker Brown just taken to the grass in his green car. Thought he was a bit camouflaged, but it was not the place to be. As it was like, is that Alex and Sabrosa having a bit of a barging early doors?
Yeah, as you can see, the gloves are definitely off for this race. Everyone's mostly pitted, as Sama and Ian have said, so there's definitely going to be a lot to fight in now, try and get some points back for some of the people that didn't quite get up to the grids they wanted to because of the pit stop. So yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting race, especially once we get over to the 15-20 minute mark, once everyone's right at the end. And another off by Twingo. Don't know what happened there, but he's back on the track now.
Yeah, it looked like he might have been distracted because there was a car off, wasn't it, just ahead of him. I didn't quite see who it was actually, but there was a car off just ahead of him, and then Twingo came around the corner and suddenly saw someone was off and thought, I'll join that as well, it looks quite fun having a little spin there, so he decided to go and have a little play as well. But it hasn't done his race position any good because he's down in 9th now. But back in the action, the thick of the action, Alex CDL putting a lot of pressure now on the Lamborghini of Luke McGee there, the Scotsman versus the Welshman, with the Englishman charging down behind in the burbly Mercedes. We were riding on board with that Mercedes. It's very, very burbly indeed, isn't it? And then we were riding on board with the Lamborghini, and it's quite a sort of screamy car. So that's one of the great things about this GT3 Championship, is just the range of different cars that we've got here. It's definitely one of the most popular championships and class of cars on the league is the GT3 series, and for good reason as well. And all the different cars handle differently as well, so as we go to the different tracks it should hopefully show as well. But look at these three cars now, three completely different cars, all battling away here at Donington. Down the hill they go. A very tricky corner, this left-hander can easily run wide onto the grass, as indeed Luke McGee does. Kicks up some dirt, and this gives the Janetta a great chance of Alex Edel to sweep around the outside, and Subrosa and the Mercedes is going to try and follow through as well. He breaks a little bit later than Luke McGee. Luke McGee doesn't want to give in though, and he manages somehow to keep that position, does Luke McGee, and Subrosa had to really back out of that to avoid an accident. So yeah, Luke McGee passed by one person, but he was like, not having another one coming past me, and supposed to have to back out, and he's going to have to try and go again now. But we've seen how much pace he's got, and he was unlucky really not to be on the podium in race 1. So after that titanic battle with Rogers, so yeah, he does need to make up some points here. But he knows he's got a long way still to go. The pit stops have been sorted out for a lot of the drivers, so he can just bide his time a little bit. But he won't want to let the likes of Chris get too far ahead there. He's already a good few seconds up the road now. We know how much pace Chris has got. There's Scuderia Sam trying to hunt down Chris Doughty. And Chris Doughty is in the Renault now. Looks like he's changed from the Honda that he was in. But Scuderia Sam and Chris, it'll be interesting to see what happens here, because they're on different strategies really this race, aren't they, with Scuderia Sam having to pit.
Yeah, definitely. Scuderia Sam just trying to keep Chris honest early on, and just put a bit of pressure on him, and remind him he's still there, and it's going to be in this championship battle. Whereas Chris is just wanting to put behind him in the early first race, and you've got Alex CDL, who likes an epic finish with Chris as well, not far behind. So it's shaping up to be a good one. And looking at G just getting in the mix with Sabrosa here, but it looks like Sabrosa's finally got the better of him. As we look at Scuderia Sam again, just try to keep on the back of Chris, try to keep Chris honest in this race. And you've got Alex CDL who's not far behind either, and now Sabrosa, having shaken off Luke G, will be getting in the mix here as well. So it's very, very interesting battle. But of course, as you say, Sam's on that different strategy, so he's just wanting to mix things up at the front as he goes for a dive down the inside. That's looks good there. It's a nice clean move, and he's got the better Chris there. So he'll be looking to just be a bit of a thorn in Chris's side up the front here as this first half of the race, as he'll be looking to make his pit at some point, and just wants to maybe control the race early on, and try and keep everyone honest, and as he looks to maybe make his pit in the second half. But he's certainly going well here, and he's showing good pace in that Lamborghini around this track. As we look back at Free Gazelle, there's a yellow flag somewhere. That's
Sabrosa.
Is that Sabrosa? Sabrosa's just spun around. That's very unfortunate again for him. He had his instance in the first race, and that's him again, just having a wee slip up, and dropping back. So he's got a bit of work to do now.
Definitely. Yeah. After the disappointing result Chris had in the first race, he's definitely going to be wanting to get back in front of Sam. After Sam tucked in on the last lap and took the place away from him, Alex is just gnawing at the back end of Chris now, and Alex is obviously wanting to try and get a place himself, and it's definitely going to be an interesting battle towards the end of this lap as the track tightens up a bit, with these cars not being the narrowest of vehicles, and the final turn being quite a narrow corner for cars this wide.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think there's plenty of room for them to send it though, isn't there? It's on the inside there, seems to open up and then close up on the exit, which always causes issues, as we've seen in the past. But interestingly here, Scuderia Sam's got to the front, but he's not pulling away from Chris, and if anything, now they're both falling back into the clutches of the Ginetta of Alex CDL, which is interesting because the Ginetta's not particularly a quick car on the straights, and there are quite a couple of long straights here at Donington. So Ginetta going very well in the hands of Alex CDL there as he gets to grips with it now, coming through the downhill through these corners, which is always tricky. There's a bit of flame there from the side of the Ginetta. I quite like side exhausts, I do, quite fancy. I think quite cool. Shame they don't really do them on the Fiat 124, but anyway. And Chris now, he's giving the position away though to Alex. This is really, really interesting now, because Chris looked like he had a good lead over Alex, and now suddenly his stride's been put off a little bit by Scuderia Sam coming past. Because now Alex CDL's got him. So, but like you said, Ian, these two love a little bit of a grandstand finish, don't they? So who knows what's going to happen between these two. But Scuderia Sam, let's see where he's going to come back out. We reckon, about 24, 25 seconds for pit stop. So that's going to put him at the moment in quite a lot of clear air just ahead of Free Gazelle if he was to pit now. We're just approaching halfway through the race, so it'll be interesting to see where he does come out. And as these two now get to proper battle, and it looks like Alex CDL's just lost the back end as he was hard on the brakes, downshifting. It's quite easy to lock the rears, especially in that Ginetta. So now he's giving the place back to Chris, and Chris is back in the what will be the lead as soon as the Lamborghini ahead pits. Luke McGee in the Lamborghini also needs to pit, so those two there make sure they don't pit at the same time, otherwise they could end up in the same box, which would be very good. For the Lamborghini Italian strategy means they have to, I don't know, double stack the cars. That might not be very good for either of them.
Yeah, definitely with the Italian strategists, you don't want to be pitting together and giving them extra trouble to make.
Definitely not.
They'll manage to do that. They'll manage to do that all themselves. So yeah, they're looking at G and Sam will want to make it easier for them. But yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if that was part of Sam's strategy with getting ahead of Chris but not pulling away too much, just kind of lingering with them. So and it's brought kind of Alex Seidel into play. It's almost like Hamilton 2016, where he backed him into Rosberg. I think Sam's going for a similar strategy there, and it seems to have worked out because it's brought Alex CDL right into play along with Chris. And you see now they're right in the mix, and as you said, they love a grandstand finish. This could be a very is that Chris just gone wrong from there? So he is spun round a bit, but he's managed to get back underway, and he's still in third. And Luke McGee is another one to pit. So provided it's not provided it's not due to a technical problem, he'll be able to carry on and get his good pace. But that was looking like such a good battle between him and Alex CDL there. It's a shame that it's kind of ended like that. But he's still in third place and still got it's now 6 seconds now, so he's dropped back a bit, but he's still in the mix. And Scrooge Sam will be pitting, so Chris will want to make sure he's ahead of him when he makes his pit stop. As we look back at Gazelle now, Luke McGee, who's also got to pit here, but Luke McGee again's got Sabrosa bearing down on him. That's been a bit of a theme here, and Sabrosa will be being held up earlier on, won't want to linger too long behind him. So yeah, but Luke McGee's not going to give up too easily. But yeah, it's definitely been an interesting battle between these two during the day, and it looks like Sabrosa's just got the better of him again there, as you see Luke McGee just falling back into 5th place and cutting a bit of grass.
Yeah, it's definitely got to the point now of the race where everyone's not giving any space for each other, and as you've just seen, Sabrosa trading paint with Scuderi's Sam's Lambo, and really going for it at this point now. And as you can see, they're just not giving anything.
Yeah, what did you make of the incident, Mac, between Alex and Chris there, where Chris ended up in the gravel? Racing incident, or?
It was hard to say, because Chris, I have noticed, has been struggling in the last 2 races. I don't know if it's him trying to get to grips with the car, or if there was a little bit of contact, but it's definitely something we'll have to investigate and find out what happened.
Yeah, and as we were talking there, look, it's the Scotsman finally pulling into the pits, and Sabrosa will be extremely relieved, I think, that Lamborghini has finally decided to go in the pits, because he's been a real thorn in the side of this man here in the Mercedes. But you know, he's going all right. He's in 4th position, and he's only 2 seconds behind Chris Doughty in the Renault. So although we've unfortunately lost the battle for the lead between Alex and Chris now, with that gap that's opened up, at least now we've got a good battle to look forward to for what will be 2nd place as soon as Scuderia Sam decides to finally pit. And now we're looking at McGee and Free-Gazelle. Free-Gazelle's having a great race actually in this one. After some troubles in the first race, he's found himself in a very competitive 5th position, ahead of Luke McGee, ahead of Twingo, ahead of Stalker Brown, ahead of McEvs. It looks like Stalker Brown and McEvs are having a great little ding-dong actually for 8th and 9th at the moment, if we get to look at that one. But looking at the nice little ding-dong between Luke McGee and Free-Gazelle, and these two have come across each other a fair few times in the past on the same bit of tarmac, haven't they? They know each other very well, and they don't give each other any quarter, as you can see there. Coming now onto the back straight, and Lamborghini kicking up some dust. It really wants to get past this Aston Martin as fast as possible, because Luke McGee knows that if there are any troubles up ahead, he wants to be there or thereabouts to take advantage of it. But Free-Gazelle's definitely not going to let him pass easy. Oh no, and he's spun. Does a nice little donut for the crowd. A nice little fan favourite award coming Luke McGee's way after that one, probably. but he doesn't want to be fan favourite. He wants to get past Aston Martin and Free Gazelle, and unfortunately he's freed Free Gazelle now for another lap or so. He's still got time though to catch back up and make another effort of it, try and get that 5th position. But yeah, Free Gazelle really putting up a strong defence there, which is what we want to see. But there's battles now all the way through the field going on as we head towards the closing stages of this race.
Yeah, definitely. As we look at this is Sabrosa now up with Chris, and after both of them having their troubles earlier on, they'll be very happy to be sitting on the podium places as we close within the last 6.5 minutes of this race. And Sabrosa will be sensing an opportunity to get one better with Scuderia Sam back in 4th place now, having done his pit stop. But yeah, he'll be the bit between his teeth here as he homes in on Chris, who's had a wee spin as well, and just wanting to get back in contention. Tight, wee bit of contact there, but they're both still in the same direction. Nothing too raging, but just a bit of rubbing is racing, so that's fine. But yeah, it's Sabrosa just getting a bit squiggly there, and it's giving Chris the initiative again, but he's very close behind him as we look at them as they go on to this, and that's Sabrosa making another move down the inside. I think should be able to complete that. He's just blocked Chris off there, and yeah, it's a nice move, and it'll be on his way down the Craner curves. But yeah, nice battle between these two for the close of the race, and Sabrosa with his problems earlier on I think he'll be a bit relieved to be up in second now, having had a very difficult day really overall, considering the pace he's shown and what he's done in the past. Is that Free Gazelle? It's looks like there's been an incident there with Free Gazelle, and G's just got past there and is on his way again. But yeah, an epic battle here between these two as we approach the last 5 minutes of the race.
Okay, so what do you make of the action?
I've drawn a blank.
That's all right. So Chris Doherty now, he's still trying to go for it with Sabrosa here for second place. And whilst these two are battling, Sabrosa gets out of shape, that lets Chris Doherty back ahead. Whilst these two are battling, not only are they losing time, second by second every lap to the leader, Alex Didier now looks pretty comfortable up ahead, unless he has one of his famous spins. But they're also putting themselves at risk. So Scuderia Sam in the red Lambo, of course, has made his pit stop, but he's not that far behind with only a few minutes left to go. You can see him coming around. There's contact there as Sabrosa tried to go to the inside, and Chris Doherty tried to close it off at the same time. That was nearly ended in tears, but yeah, Scuderia Sam's really closing quick now on these two, so they probably won't be noticing him at the moment because he's still 6 or 7 seconds back. But it's something that they will have to be careful about. If they do make contact, that could easily give a position or two to Scuderia Sam. And these two will be hoping that they can be in the championship challenge with Scuderia Sam, with Alex Didier, with Roger as well. So they need to be a little bit careful here how they go about it. This isn't the last race of the championship. This is the first race of the championship.
Yeah, definitely, and they say can only lose on the first round, so they'll be wanting to keep themselves in contention here as we look at Sabrosa again. Chris just ahead of him. I mean, it's one of Chris's famous sayings. It's like you can only lose it on the first lap, but on the first corner you can't win it. So yeah, that's certainly the case here. Just look at he's a bit got a bit out of shape there, and that's allowed Sabrosa back through, but certainly still very tight between these two. A few little mistakes creeping in here, but just shows you how much is on the line, and that's reeling Scuderia Sam in a little bit. He's just lingering in the background. Oh no! Oh, and they both. Oh no!
Both of them doing donuts, and there's Scuderia Sam.
They both around Scuderia Sam's right. I was just saying that it looked like. Yeah, I was just saying that Sam was just back in the distance there and just not quite enough to come through, and just as I said that, they both spin out, and Scuderia Sam's through and in second place. So that's worked out magnificently for Sam, and not so much for Sabrosa and Chris, who've just seems to have been really unlucky today. And that's Sam right through the middle there, and on for another podium in the second race, even though he's had to make his pit stop here. As we look at Chris, who's another unlucky day. And here's Stalker Brown had a great first race coming through in 8th place. So yeah, it's been a bit of a topsy-turvy day, but through all of it, Scooter Sam seems to be smiling the most with some epic good luck and really consistent performances.
Yeah, definitely. I reckon by the next race now, everyone's going to be settled into these cars way more, and it's going to be even closer, I see, the next race and the season to come. As you can see, the end of this race, everyone's really close at the front. It's quite a tight pack in the middle, and obviously you've got the little group at the back. The good thing about this series is you're not, if you are a little bit of a slower driver, you have got a group you can fight with in the middle or at the back of the race. So it's pretty good all round it.
Absolutely, yeah. There's definitely nobody that's by themselves and getting bored. There's always somebody to battle, which is a fantastic thing in this championship, because it's always a bit of fun, of course, but it's also competitive, and you're having most fun when you're competing, isn't it? When you've got someone to race. So yeah, but I think Alex CDL probably would have preferred someone else, some more people to race today, because he was well clear of the field in this race too here at Donington, winning the race by probably about 10 seconds in the end, as the party really gets going over the finish line. Absolute carnage and bits of car everywhere. Seems to be a tradition, but anyway, Scooter Sam quite lucky there to come home, took his chances in second, and yeah, broken cars across the line as Frigazell comes across the line now to take, I think it was 6th place in the end. Is Twingo-tastic. He was really in the wars today. Twingo was fighting with Makevs, fighting with Frigazell, bang. Now I'll have to go into some sort of highlights reel at the end. And then Makevs coming across the line. Yeah, Makevs had some great battling. We didn't talk about him much in this race, but it was his first race in the championship after missing the race 1, so he was still getting up to speed a little bit. And yeah, he had a fantastic race. And unfortunately for Roger, Roger the Dodger, one of the championship favourites, didn't even get started. Don't know what happened. He must have disconnected or something, but yeah, something happened to him at the start. But confirmation of the championship standings after the first 2 rounds. Scooter Sam leads by 4 points over Alex CDL and the Ginetta, both the race winners here at Donington. Subrosa in 3rd after getting quite consistent results. Chris Doherty as well, I think there's definitely more from him to come. So Luke G and Stalker Brown as well, actually. So yeah, it's really, really hot enough in the midfield. Next time out, round 2, Barcelona, spelt wrongly there. Barcelona. Anyway. And the 2 Lamborghinis will be going for it, as you can see on screen there, and so will all the other drivers. And we're hoping as well to have back Cherryberry as well.